Well, you see, we're getting dangerously close to a very relevant level. What we need to consider here is the following. On the one hand, it's essential to see that in this uptrend, we have a selling cluster. In this green candle, even though it appears green on the outside, if we look inside, we'll see that selling also prevails, and this is slightly reflected in the delta. At this point, I'll tell you how we're going to analyze what I mentioned not too long ago, that the price of Bitcoin is attacking a very relevant level, and based on what we see here, we'll react in one way or another. In this video, I'll explain the importance of Bitcoin's price impacting this trend line, as it's an extremely relevant price level. Depending on the outcome, we'll prioritize one direction or another for the immediate and short term. Remember that the macro context is always essential. In this 4-hour time frame of Bitcoin, we're identifying an uptrend channel where the price is currently impacting, spending a lot of time and creating uncertainty among retail investors. Keep in mind that we're coming from an accumulation phase that broke through its crick to validate it and then moved upward with a lot of bullish momentum. Returning to the 1-hour chart, you know how smart money loves to compress the price against significant structural levels. In our previous videos, we emphasized the importance of observing this false breakout, which could have been considered a market trap, but was later able to recover and confirm the level. We've been saying that as long as this level, the roof of the 4-hour uptrend channel, is defended and not breached. And due to the recent events I explained a moment ago, the significance of this level cannot be overstated. It shouldn't surprise us that the price has been testing this trend line since Friday. For the short term, we're observing how this level has responded to an institutional call, as they have been selling Bitcoin. For a medium-term idea in which Bitcoin falls, it's essential that this defensive area is not lost. However, this doesn't mean that if the defensive area is lost and the price goes up, we can't continue to expect the decline we've been observing in the medium term. But don't worry, I'll explain it to you soon and everything will become clear. Let's look at this Bitcoin chart in the 1-hour time frame. So, if we review the Ethereum chart in its daily time frame, as you know, we've been observing this uptrend channel lately. We were expecting this compression to await a strong bullish impulse. As I mentioned earlier, smart money tends to compress the price against relevant levels to trigger an explosion. You'll recall that we were working with this price level, this creek, at around $2016. Without a doubt, in the scenario where Bitcoin is going for that climactic action, Ethereum could be going for its crick. At the same time, it might go for that median area. This is something we've discussed in previous sessions, where smart money often wants to test us against the median area, even more frequently, with a double test before a correction. As you know from our recent videos, we're expecting a correction in the medium-term crypto market. Before I share how I think smart money will follow this operational idea and, more importantly, how you can profit from this situation, I'll ask you to share your opinion in the comments first. What do you think? Will the market go up or down in the short and medium term? If you're enjoying this video, leave a comment with your opinion. Also, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and click the notification bell for future updates. So, the message is quite clear. We have a dual analysis here. On one hand, we have compression, which could be an accumulation process. Recently, the crick was broken to the upside, as you can see, and we have recently validated the OR, the crick, and gone for liquidity as a trap, then confirmed the level. This event might make us think that we're experiencing a flat pattern, and if it breaks, we could expect an uptrend in the short and immediate term. But consider this, if they continue justifying that they are defending their position, it implies that we may never see the price move upward. Therefore, you might be getting some ideas, but don't worry. I'll share them with you. Basically, if you've paid attention, you've realized that we're currently at a vital, critical level. The breakthrough of this level to the upside would invite us to look upward. However, failure to breach it and a reversal could imply a continuation of the bearish direction. To understand it better, let's analyze it on the order flow chart. Well, here we're going to talk about an issue. This 4-hour Bitcoin chart, you're well acquainted with it. We've been working on this macro bullish channel. Here we have the compression I showed you in the 1-hour chart, the breakout, the test, and the validation of the ORA, and now we're evaluating this flat pattern. So it's important to know something. When we conduct a long-term analysis, of course, the price has a lot of room to move. What does this mean? As you know, our medium-term view of the crypto market is to bet on a decline by way of correction. But keep in mind this raises raises doubts for many people because we often switch between short-term and long-term analysis. So, for some, it may not be clear which direction to focus on. But one thing is clear, trading is not simple, and tracking advanced technical analysis as we do in Crypto Insight can be challenging for newcomers. So even though in our last video we presented the idea of being bearish within this bearish idea, we also consider that the price may extend its move, as I explained in previous videos. So, why isn't the option of a tricky bullish climactic action before making the expected move on the table? I mention this because I've seen some comments on YouTube from people who might get a bit confused by video titles. But for those who might be confused, I just want to say, don't pay too much attention to the video titles, and instead focus on the content and the explanations. That way you won't get so disoriented, I can guarantee that. Now, let's have a quick recap. We've been emphasizing that the delta in this bullish channel is consistently oriented towards the bearish side. What does this mean? While the price appears to be steadily rising, creating the visual impression of a constant uptrend, which most retail investors interpret as positive, the reality is that we can see in the delta that this entire bullish channel is constantly filled with selling pressure. For newcomers, it's important to understand that this doesn't mean the price has to plummet tomorrow due to this reason. And of course, as a disclaimer, this can fail, but that's something we all know. In this 1-hour order flow chart, I've recreated important structural levels which we will now analyze. So, let's take a closer look at the levels that really matter. Let's see what we can expect next. The first point is a bearish attack, and here it's clear that the price is halted and buying begins. Likewise, we can see drying up of transactions on the tape, indicating a lack of transactional interest. Moving further to the right, we see the usual relentless selling. Pay attention to the delta, but what's interesting is that during the bearish attack, buying comes in that's able to temporarily halt the price. I'll ask you to share your opinion in the comments first. What do you think? Will the market go up or down in the short and medium term? If you're enjoying this video, leave a comment with your opinion. Also, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and click the notification bell for future updates. What we're observing here is undoubtedly absorption. However, this shouldn't surprise anyone. The price comes down with force, and at the lower part of the candle, we see selling. This is a terrible operational zone for selling. So, we can conclude that this delta and volume has been absorbed selling. If we move further to the right, in the next drop, we clearly see that, despite the red cluster distractions, this candle has been consistently bought, and the green color predominates, with an exorbitant delta in this candle pushing the price upward. If they were absorbing earlier, now they are buying. It's evident that smart money is very much present in this scenario. So we move forward. We see them visiting the crick, and after that, in the subsequent decline, they once again absorb the sellers who are unable to gain ground, and the price starts to balance. So, the analysis you're currently seeing shows that smart money is behind all of this. This is when we've had the significant break of the crucial level, and after the initial attempt to attack it, they saw significant bearish intent. Consequently, they weren't entirely ready to go long. That's why they initiated the common, frequently used strategy of opening the floodgates temporarily, because they realized that there were people who wanted to keep selling, and they said, "Sell it to me down below at a better price, and I'll buy everything." The green color predominates in this candle. This was a buy, and as expected, they caught the shorts. After creating a trap scenario, they recovered it, which is the result of all the selling trying to breach a crucial level, the one we've recently observed, and they've crafted a market trap. Now they are protecting it. So, we must consider the possibility of looking upward. At this point, I'll tell you how we're going to analyze what I mentioned not too long ago, that Bitcoin's price is attacking a highly relevant level. Depending on what we see here, we will react one way or another. So, we're approaching a very relevant level, and what we need to assess is the following. On one hand, it's important to note that in this rise we see a selling cluster. In this green candle, even though it appears green on the surface, if we look inside, we can see that selling also dominates, which is slightly reflected in the delta. On the other hand, in the following candle, the current one at the time of this recording, we can see buying intent, but there's also selling intent protecting this level, this structure. To give you some context, remember that it's the same level, the one that, if not surpassed, we will consider it a trap, and smart money continues to defend their position. So we will observe the same event on a 4-hour order flow chart. In a more summarized way, we can see that there is indeed a cluster of purchases that got trapped in a market trap, and it is this cluster that is now exerting pressure due to the potential lack of price movement. While it is a green candle, there's no doubt about it, we can still perceive selling intent within it, especially in some parts of the candle, which is somewhat reflected in the delta. So it would be interesting to see in this chart how this selling can potentially halt the idea of breaking the flat pattern to move strongly upward in the short and immediate term. In any case, we might see attempts to buy here, but the price might retreat instead, indicating a scenario that still needs confirmation. Now, to make it clearer, I'll provide a final visual summary of what we think could happen with Bitcoin's price and how it might occur. In summary, based on how the price reacts here, an event that we will monitor, we can expect the following. If the price is able to break upward after this accumulation process and the validation of the origin of the breakout that formed a flat pattern, we are likely to see a strong climactic bullish action in the crypto market. However, we must also consider the possibility that this event might be a trap with an eventual downward move. If this level is respected and not surpassed, we might see a visit to the median line of this bullish channel. It's an event that can potentially lead to another attempt at an upward move. Still, if it's not surpassed, we should give great importance to this market trap as a defensive area and consider looking downwards sooner rather than later. Keep an eye on the publication of Crypto Insight videos on YouTube to learn how to access this private community where members actively participate and share valuable content. I hope you have successful trading and see you in the next one, market. However, we must also consider the possibility that this event might be a trap with an eventual downward move. If this level is respected and not surpassed, we might see a visit to the median line of this bullish channel. It's an event that can potentially lead to another attempt at an upward move. Still, if it's not surpassed, we should give great importance to this market trap as a defensive area and consider looking downwards sooner rather than later. Keep an eye on the publication of Crypto Insight videos on YouTube to learn how to access this private community where members actively participate and share valuable content. I hope you have successful trading and see you in the next one,